a fun thought experiment that I like to think of is Balaji is fond of posting the Hanke-Krus hyperinflation table. And nearly every example. So first off, let's be on.
Could you pull that up? Actually, I don't think I've seen that.
Okay, yeah, Hanke-Kraus, I believe. So the Hanke-Krus hyperinflation table shows the fiat currencies and their time to hyperinflation. And time to hyperinflation is defined in taking, what is the time that it takes for prices to double? So obviously we all know of the example of the Weimar Republic in Germany. And there's, I can't remember, someplace in, if he finds it, someplace in Africa. But so a fun thought experiment that I like to play with myself is the stories of the Weimar Republic and the hyperinflation was that it was so fast that you would walk into the bar at the beginning of the night, pay for all your drinks, because by the end of the night, the prices would have gone up. And here we go. So the fastest is Hungary, which took 15 hours to double in prices. Wow. And that was in 45. Zimbabwe in 2007 took 1 day and 45 minutes. There you have Germany down there in fifth place, and it took a day and a half, right? So here's the thought experiment. Look at the dates on the left and tell me, did any of those occur when there was a digital off-ramp? Not one. No. And how much faster would that have occurred if you were in Germany and you could have taken your Deutschmarks and you could have
sold them for Bitcoin,
gone on to Strike or Swan or wherever you go and just exchanged them for Bitcoin? How much faster would that have gone? Because those people were burning stacks of money to stay warm. They were wiping their ass with trillion-dollar bills in Zimbabwe. They were wiping their ass with trillion-dollar bills because it was cheaper than toilet paper. So
you're right. So Bitcoin, in your opinion here, is an accelerant to the time required for prices to double, because people, once they see the writing on the wall, inflation is a psychological phenomenon. If I think this thing's going to zero, I'm going to sell it to get anything that's not going to zero. Yeah. And if you have a digital off-ramp, that causes it to hyperinflate more quickly.
Yeah, Balaji talks about the three options that you have, which is like a voice. You can voice against it. You can fall in line, basically, or you can exit. Yeah. And all of these examples did not have exit as an option. Yeah. And so optionality, Taleb, right? Yeah. So let's talk, like, what does optionality do in this instance? And I just think, it's just fuel to the fire. Yeah. It just hyper blasts us off. And for anybody that doubts that this will happen, you see this on Twitter so much right now with financial analysts basically saying, oh, the United States is still in a good position, et cetera. Well, yeah, relative to everyone else, right? The dollar is relatively strong to other. But where's it going to go? Like, where is it going, right? I mean, since Charlie Munger called Bitcoin rat poison squared, Bitcoin is up 99.5% against the dollar. Or, sorry, against Berkshire Hathaway.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, it's up 500-600% against the dollar, probably.
Yeah. I mean, so what happens? Like, what happens then is, like, I think people who believe that there is going to be a long time frame, I don't believe that exists because of the nature of game theory. When it is adopted by one big mover, everybody has to fall in line. And Lowry talks about how we've gotten lucky, how we were really close in the development of certain technologies that allowed us to be a leader where the competitor was mere months behind. The atomic bomb is a perfect example. And so if it's just months, and instead of having to expend the resources, have the knowledge, have the laboratories and the testing and everything to develop this thing, all you have to do is exchange your fiat for Bitcoin over a weekend. Right. Then that's what you see with Michael Saylor. Yeah. $500 million to $100 billion in 4 years. Right. Yeah. So I just think that's a fascinating thing to consider. And I think it speaks to why Jason Lowery is so fervent in pounding the drum on this issue and getting us to take a look at it from a different viewpoint.
Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this episode, click here to find more just like it, and here to find our most recent episode. Also, make sure to like this video to help shine light on the corruption of money, and be sure to subscribe to this channel to stay connected.